never heard of. Hey everybody, welcome to the Common Folk Podcast with Ben, Morgan, and Andy. Wow, that voice, that sounds familiar.
Here we go.
Oh, that's the guy.
Here we go. That was a good one.
Yeah.
I like to think I have a comedic side here and there.
Yeah. Do you want to sing that again for us?
What's up, everybody?
What is up?
We have a guest here, if you haven't figured this out yet.
Yeah. Most people probably by now who listen know what's going on here.
Yeah, they do.
I think so. I think so.
Geez, you guys know me like the back of your farm fields, back 40. And you gave me a bush light right in my hand. You have my Eric Burgett hat sitting right here on the table. It's like you know me.
All the stuff. Eric Burgett, welcome, man.
Thanks, man. Good to be here with y'all.
How was your trip?
It was good. It was good. We got up pretty early, flew into Omaha.
Was it direct?
It wasn't. We flew through Chicago.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Got my wifey here in the room. She made the trip.
Yay.
She can pick and choose trips
Very good.
to go on, lately because we're expecting. So
She's a Chicago native, is that right?
she is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
A Southie? North side.
North.
Side.
North.
Cubs fan. Okay,
I'm
go,
still learning.
Cubs, go.
Yeah, that's
All right.
her.
There we
Yeah.
are. All right.
That's cool. So you guys headed out early this morning, making your way to the Midwest.
Back to the Midwest. It's
Yep.
like I never left. I love it.
Yep.
It's it looks familiar just seeing the fields overhead and touching down. It's great. I love it. It's like I'm back home.
Yep. Crops are starting to pop up a little bit.
Yep.
Is it that way up north?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
same.
Yeah, and we're keeping busy. Like we do a little bit of everything. So we crop farm. We're corn and soybean farmers, but we also run a large greenhouse operation. So
Oh, okay.
we grow everything from trees, shrubs, to vegetable plants to
Really?
petunias.
Does that start earlier?
Wow.
That starts about I would say beginning of February with
Okay.
planting.
Yeah.
We're used to we plant a lot from seed. So we have this big machine that drops all the little seeds in the trays
Yeah.
that hold maybe 100 plants, and we plant a bunch of hundreds of those trays, and
Really?
they grow, and then we transplant them, and now they're in individual pots. And
That's cool.
So do you have to tour around planting season and harvest?
I do. Well, so I try to go up a couple times a year to help on the farm. Mainly during harvest, because it's kind of creeping up on that downtime in the fall, where then it transfers into the winter. So it's things are winding down. So it's always good to get back up there. And I always say I have the luxury of visiting and still working on the farm. My brothers are there full time though.
But where is back home? So
Back
people
home,
know.
yeah, I know. We're talking we need to go back a little bit.
Yeah.
Central Illinois.
Okay.
So a little town called Latham, about 400 people.
Oh, that's tiny.
It's a tiny town.
So
Okay.
let's, like you said, let's rewind a little bit. So first of all, we're speaking with Eric Burgett from, do you say you're from Illinois or do you say you're from Nashville right now?
I say I'm based in Nashville.
Okay. Yep.
My roots run far and wide in Central Illinois.
Okay. Yep.
And that's where it all started for me in music and farming and
Yep.
stuff. So.
Yeah.
So Eric is a country music singer. For those of you who have been listening to the podcast all along for the last, year and a half now, you've heard the dude on the intro music. You know who he is. We've talked about him multiple times, and here he is. He finally made his way to Nebraska.
We said he was coming.
Yeah, we did. We've said that. We've said that a few times. So we're happy to have him here. And let's get into, who you are, man, and how you came up and how everything looks for you today. So we'll run through that thing. So tell us about growing up. We've already touched on a little bit there in Illinois. What was little Eric doing?
Yeah, well, I'm still little. I don't think I've grown that much, but man, so it all started. I was about 4 years old, and I kind of took after my older brother Elliot playing piano, and piano kind of always stuck out to me. I don't know why. A lot of it I know for sure was like hearing him play the piano, and I'd go from the tractor bench to the piano seat. Like from the school bus to the tractor bench to the piano seat, like literally that was my life growing up. And I started playing by ear, like Billy Joel,
Wow.
All right.
Jerry Lee Lewis, like Bob Seger, like the old time rock and roll. Dun, 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 dun,
Oh,
dun.
yeah.
And like it fascinated me, and I never really gave guitar a chance, I guess, because piano just always spoke to me. So I was a big fan of the piano artists, and Charlie Rich, all those guys, and later on Phil Vassar, who I got to open for a couple times, and he's a buddy of mine, and it's really cool to kind of, I don't know. I'm a little bit of an oddball, I guess, playing piano and doing country music, but it's me.
So you weren't
100%.
made to have get piano lessons. Like I had to take piano lessons and I hated it. So good for you.
I give my parents I'm like, man, if I could pay you back for all those piano lessons, because I loved it. I loved every minute of it. My siblings, maybe not so much. They might have been in that realm of oh crap, I gotta play piano, do piano lessons.
See, it's your thing.
I took to it like a cow to cud. I just loved it and learning music, and I did the classical stuff too. Like I did all that,
really?
And it kind of gave me the chops to be able to play fast and with emotion and stuff like that.
And you started singing with it?
Started singing about the time I was in high school.
Okay, so later.
Yep, the singing came later on. I ended up doing musicals and stage stuff.
Yeah.
And because I was like, well, that can't hurt, because if I want to be a performer, got to get the stage experience. And then that led to me forming my band and playing out at bars when I was in high school, which was cool. I was under 21, and that was cool.
Making some money.
Cool. Yeah, making some money. Played piano at my parents' bar called the Corn Crib. It was made out of 2 grain bins. And
oh, wow.
You farmers out there will appreciate it. It's nestled right on the outskirts of my hometown, built out of 2 GSI grain bins. And
they had a bar?
Had a bar.
Dang.
And
I've seen you post about that. Is it still active, or?
It is, man.
Yeah.
So my parents actually sold it pre-COVID.
Okay.
Everything's like pre-COVID these days. Or
Yeah,
post-COVID,
yeah, right, yeah.
They the farm was busy. They were busy with the greenhouse, and they ended up selling it. It was closed for a little while, and then it just reopened this last year, a couple months ago, actually. So it's cool that my family built it, but I still go back every time I'm home to get some wings or something. So.
Yeah. So 100%, like you said, the differentiator for you, and from what I've heard and what kind of attracted us to your style of music, is the piano.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't hear that very much in country music, and I think it's pretty awesome. So I just want to make sure that we touched on that. And you talked about growing up, and your brother. You said your brother. What do you have for siblings?
Yeah, so I got 2 brothers. There's Elliot and Evan. I'm kind of a middle child. Me and my sister are. So I have 2 brothers and a sister. And we've always been involved with the farm, and we were doing 4-H as kids growing up.
Yeah.
County fair season was really huge, coming up on that, and so yeah, man, definitely the older brother thing. I think I wanted to either compete with him or be better than him, so I kind of just that might have been the selling point for me to really take the piano by storm. So
You little brothers are all the same.
I know, man, right? Gosh.
Got 2 little brothers, and man, I hate them.
Love hate, man. Makes the world go round.
So at what point in that particular journey did you decide, man, it's time to get real and I'm going to the next level?
Definitely going to college. I studied music. It was probably about halfway through my college career where I was like, I'm either going to just straight up move to Nashville or I'm going to finish college and then move to Nashville. And I chose the latter. I decided to finish my degree and move to Nashville because I was already making frequent trips there anyway, doing what we call songwriter rounds. So I would get online the week before and search what songwriter nights are going on in Nashville and how do you get involved. So there would be a number you'd call sometimes that day, that morning, to see if you get in the slot, and then I'd go to Nashville that night.
Really?
It's like a 6-hour drive.
So they have like a system to get into to play.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And some songwriter nights are only on Tuesdays, some are Thursdays. There are some like the Bluebird Cafe, where the Bluebird Cafe, you would actually audition, but you have to like sign up to do the audition and see if you get in, and then each time you perform there, you get like graded by the wait staff.
No pressure.
No pressure at all, and I just kept going back to like, I'm just gonna be me. Like, there's nothing else I can do.
Yeah,
like,
good for you.
Just push through it and don't get nervous. And I mean, there's always nerves there. So, I would say, but they're good nerves.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like you've definitely like turned a corner now, and you've embraced the piano, and you play it so well that it's your advantage now. It's what differentiates you. No, I mean it, and I listen to your stuff, obviously. But at the beginning, because you just see this with people all the time. We're talking with some friends that got a new and different car, and everyone's just giving them hell, right? Like, you're not going to like that. You don't want to use that. But then after people get used to it, they come around to it. Oh, you know what? This is kind of a nice car. Did you catch that in Nashville? It's like, man, what are you doing? You need to you need a 6-string. Get that piano out of here.
Man, dude, that's a good like analogy kind of thing, like relating it to that. Like, well, people drove horse and buggies for a while, before cars came into the picture, and
True.
Then people were probably like, okay, I can dig this car thing, now that they got used to it, and it's kind of like the best way to go to A to B. I don't know. Not saying that 100%, because I still like the slow lane, so I would definitely ride a horse any day. But I did, I haven't experienced that so much where it's like, man, you need a guitar, but I did get in my head early on where I'm like, man, I should have played guitar because it's easier to haul a guitar on my back around than a piano.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But I poke fun at that all the time, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I love it. And there was a time early on, like I would be playing like a fish fry in the next town over, and I'd have this full 88 size keyboard in this big old case just lugging it around. And now I have a 72 key keyboard in what looks like a gun case, and TSA is always like, is this a gun, sir? I'm like, no, it's a keyboard.
It's a weapon, though. It's a weapon.
Yeah.
So do you, so based on that, what Andy was talking about, I would have expected the same thing, that people would have been trying to pressure you in one way or another, but that hasn't necessarily been the case.
No, I haven't experienced that. I haven't. I absolutely, I love writing with like other musicians who play guitar and stuff, and I still, like, I've tried playing guitar, but
Can you or no?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. I think I can play like 2 or 3 chords, and people say country music's 3 or 4 chords in the truth. Whatever it is, I think it's a lot more chords sometimes these days. But
that's hilarious.
But I'm just kind of, I look at it as I'm doing my own thing, and I don't know. But
I think it's awesome, man. So back to, we were talking about your family a little bit. When you decided, man, I'm gonna go off and do my own thing. I'm gonna go to Nashville. This is where my life is, my focus is. What did your parents think?
They were all for it, man.
Really?
They were all for it.
Wow, that's fantastic.
That is cool.
That's really cool.
I have the most supportive town ever, and I hope a lot of people can say the same thing about their towns. Because you grow up, growing up in a small community like I did, I grew up playing piano in church, and everyone from the organ player at my church to the cook at my school in high school to my pastor to my school bus driver, like everybody was just super supportive and with what I was doing. And no one like my parents, man. My parents were the most supportive growing up. And I think where I'm at in this stage of my career, looking back, there was never that moment where I was like, I'm not going to do this. And that's all because my parents' support and paying for all those piano lessons, man.
Yeah.
They were like, you better put this to work.
Yeah.
So what is your town, what does the town say population right now?
Population is Latham, Population of like 403.
403?
Yeah. And I always say give or take.
Okay. Yeah.
It's one of those things. Do they do the census every year? Is that a thing?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I think I got
and
you.
how often do they
I got you
reprint?
beat.
What do you got, man?
Lynch is 360. When I was growing up.
Damn.
Yeah, so I
boy.
don't remember it being
Just
any
a
lower than 400.
Tiny, smaller.
What my parents would always say is like, you're raised by the town and you're raised by the community, like, because everybody knows you. You're talking about the people at the church, people, and that's how it is. Like, it also kind of keeps you on the straight and narrow, because like if you try and get away with something, man, I remember getting in trouble on one side of town, and my mom already knew before I rode my bike.
It's a wonder that town didn't kick me out, man. It's like, cheers to everybody. And cheers to
there we
y'all.
go.
Yeah, buddy.
Cheers.
Those probably are your biggest fans, I imagine, right?
Dude, yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah.
But I think that's awesome to hear that your parents were supportive. Of course, you always want to hear that, and you think that's us being parents. Like, yeah, we're going to be supportive, but maybe, you hear the stories that the parents are like, really? You think you're going to make it? Okay. Like, let's just see this, type of, you're going on to Nashville? Are you sure? Like.
Man, once I moved to Nashville, my dad would always have the same questions. And there's those questions of like, okay, I'd be opening, like maybe I'm opening for so-and-so, and he'd be like, how'd you get that gig or something? He'd be like curious.
Like he wants to know the ins and outs.
And I'm like, Dad, I think I've told you this 100 million times. Like, we get it by hustling and grinding, and then sometimes my management company scores the gig for me, because like they get a lead from like the venue or the production manager, and they're like, hey, we want Eric to open up for so-and-so. But it took me a while, and then I was like, really, my dad's just really proud of me.
Yeah.
And
it's a different way, right? Like, I mean, I don't know what he did for work or your parents, but obviously it's different than what you're doing. So they're not questioning it, but
yeah, like they would be at almost every show. Like I'd be playing 4 hours away, and they'd be at almost every show. But every hometown show, they were at every single show.
Wow.
They would even fly. They flew to New York last year when I opened for Lee Bryce. And, and of course, my dad didn't get. This is just a side story. My dad didn't get through the security gate because he had a couple screws in his pocket.
Shoot.
Farmer.
He had a couple screws loose. I mean, unbelievable.
That's what I told my mom. Like, well, he's had a couple loose screws, man. And so then I was my band and I were already on the bus up, and my dad called me, and he's like, yeah, we need you to get us another flight. So my manager, Alex, was in the seat next to me, and he ended up buying him some plane tickets. And we got him to the show.
I was going to say, did your dad try to big name, like, do you know who I am? Do you know who my son is?
Dude, all the time. He would do that too. And I'm just like, man, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Still didn't get that flight, though.
Hilarious.
They didn't let him on the flight?
No.
What the
He was
heck?
flying from St. Louis, and he had a couple screws in his pocket. He was like always behind. Like my mom would always make it to the security gate before him because she would be moving quicker. She's like, and it's like our wedding day too, Amy. Remember, like our wedding starts at this time, but my mom always told him like an hour before it actually started because he would actually show up on time then.
Kind of sounds like what I do with this guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, right. So you never. I mean, he could have been just blabbing his mouth or something, and maybe gave the security people some.
There's a good chance there was something going on.
Yeah, all in good fun.
From one guy to the other. Yeah, it was probably like
100%. Man.
Yeah.
I actually did that to myself this morning. I told you I had to go to the dentist, get drilled a little bit. And I'm just working, I'm editing videos, doing all this stuff. And then an alarm goes off on my phone, dentist in 10 minutes. I'm like, I'm going to be late. So I hop in the shower and all this stuff. And I get there. I'm like, Andy, like, oh, yeah, we'll be ready for you in a few minutes. So, like, I scheduled that an hour early knowing that I'll probably forget
That's funny.
That's how it goes, man.
You know what I've started to do, like on my phone, if I schedule something or whatever, if I need to remember something, I'll do the reminder, but I'll do it like for 2 hours before. And sometimes maybe like a day before.
Yeah.
Because
sometimes you need that, dude.
And they came out with this new feature, I guess, where you can have it give you like multiple reminders. So I'll have like a day before and 2 hours before and half an hour before, because I'll forget, man.
Yeah.
Morgan, did you write the code for this, the new reminder system?
No, but good thing. I mean, we only have a Google Calendar, and everybody's synced on it.
Right.
All the kids, everything. Add all your shit.
Right.
And he's like, "What do we got going on?" I'm like, "Check the calendar."
Too much.
That's just that. No.
It's too much.
It is. It's too much.
So
Life, man.
yeah, 100%. So how about you and Amy? When did you guys meet?
We met in 2007.
Where at?
In Decatur, Illinois.
Okay.
Cater.
Yep. And I'm going to try not to butcher this story. She's probably like, no, it was that. No. This is what I remember, okay?
This is his version.
I was part of a community musical. So again, this goes back to like me doing like stage stuff because I'm trying to get all the stage experience I can. I'm trying to soak it all up, be a sponge, you know? And I didn't have much going on that fall in terms of like after school stuff, except working on the farm. But I remember I was kind of scared to ask my parents and ask my dad. I'm like, can I do this musical? Because just so you know, it might take me away from work, like in the evening hours and stuff. And they were all for it. They were cool. So anyway, I do this musical. I go in the audition room, and that's where I met Amy. Amy happened to be attending a college, which I eventually went to. She was doing the musical for college credit.
Okay.
And I was just doing it just for, let's see what I can do kind of thing. So anyway, we, for lack of better words, we hit it off. And I had a big old crush on her, but she never gave me the time of day.
Imagine.
And but that story goes further because we remained friends all through college, even after she graduated and I was still in college. She was out in L.A. doing her thing, and we'd stay in touch through social media. Mm-hmm. I remember I flew out to L.A. for The Voice. I made it to a callback before the TV show recording. And she helped me with my audition because she's a singer too, and did theater and all that stuff. And she was kind of my person who gave me words of wisdom for, hey, how can I not be nervous? Like, how can you help me not be nervous and stuff like that? So finally, after, let's see, it was 2013, I was playing a show in Chicago with a country artist by the name of James Wesley. I was keyboards for him and sang background vocals. And Amy saw that I was going to be playing a show near downtown. And she happened to be in town. She had recently moved back to Chicago, and she came to my show that night.
Just like surprised you, or did she tell you?
I didn't know if you were actually going to come because you said you were in a theater rehearsal. You were in Wizard of Oz. And it was at a theater like the next town over or whatever. But
yeah.
So I ended
I
up,
bet that made you more nervous.
Oh my gosh. I kept playing and like looking out in the audience, like literally like looking for her. Sure enough, she was like right here in the front of the stage to the right with her friend. And she was at the show, and I just kept singing to her the whole night. So
well, there you go.
I was like, nice. Man. And so then, a couple months later, she was coming to Nashville. I think maybe a month later, to see a good friend of ours, play a CD release party. She stayed at my house, which I was renting with a couple dudes. It was me and a couple dudes. It was basically a frat house.
Right.
So she stayed the whole weekend, and it wasn't until 2015 we actually started dating.
Okay.
We were at a bar in Nashville because she was in Atlanta at the time, making trips like to Nashville, and in a way she moved closer because Atlanta's like 2 hours away, 3 hours away, but time change. Yeah. She's over. I keep looking over at her like I don't want to butcher this story. Again, this is what I remember. It's just like a tunnel vision of like, man.
Right, and now the rest is history.
It all came together.
Yeah, so we had known each other for like 11 or 12 years before we actually dated. And, I went from this fraternity kid trying to make moves on her to,
punk,
and then the ball finally being in my court. And I was like, hey, let's do this thing. And then we got married in 2018. So we're coming up on our 5-year anniversary.
Oh, fun.
Oops.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wrong one.
Bow, 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 bow.
Trying to get
playing
some.
there?
I'm trying to get Instagram up here, but
Thought we were gonna play some like background, like pump up music.
no.
For that love story I just told you.
I know.
That was a love story.
Yeah, very lovey-dovey song. I don't know if this is a good segue then, since you're playing that alternative music, and I like it. That's kind of what
I think
grew up on.
everything's alternative these days.
It pretty much is.
Everything
Kinda
does
like
kind of have
just
a
whatever,
So-
whatever you like.
A lot
Yeah.
of stuff has
No
kind of
boundaries.
like started blending.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you about Tom McDonald.
Oh, Tom McDonald.
I mean, because I feel like in some ways he's so much like you, trying to make his own way. He's independent. And now that he's blown up, and now you see him all over Instagram and everywhere else telling his story. He has all these tattoos and all over his face and stuff.
Yeah, man.
I mean, do you like his stuff? Do you think he's full of it? I mean, what do you think of this guy?
I dig it. I dig it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do too.
I do, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of music I've been digging all over the world, man. Like, just me being a songwriter and a musician, I like getting my head out of the box.
I bet.
Like, I might listen to Drake one day.
Yeah.
Just to dive into a deeper ocean of like musicality and words.
Yeah.
And hear what other production sounds are going on. I'll go way back to my roots, like Bob Seger and Leonard Skinner. I'll go to Lady Gaga. Just she's a piano player. I'll go to Vanessa Carlton. Sometimes I'll break out into 1,000 Miles with the da-na-na-na-na-na, in my shows, and girls go crazy. So they know every word. I'm glad.
I got that summer where that song blew up.
Dude.
I was baling hay, working for a big rancher up around northeast Nebraska, and those pop stations, they basically get about 20 songs in the rotation.
Z100.
Oh my God! So I bet I heard that song 8 times a day baling hay, man. So I got a soft spot for her.
It's just, and the music video is just her on a flatbed, I think,
Trailer.
and on the piano just rolling down the street. I love it.
I would have to see it. I don't know.
Check it out.
Pull up who you're talking about too.
All right, so
I don't know who this Tom guy is.
Tom McDonald he's a rapper,
Yep.
and I mean he's
Okay.
aggressive with. I would say aggressive with
I would
his
say so,
lyrics.
yeah.
Aggressive with his beats, real hard.
He is who he is.
Yeah,
And-
yeah. I mean, spit the truth.
100%, man. I admire that.
And
Okay.
he doesn't apologize for nothing. And yeah, golly, and I feel like he's always kind of been there, and there's been a following for him, and I've seen him crop up every now and then last couple of years, but I'd say last 2-3 weeks he is just
Yeah.
exploded.
TikTok's growing.
Yeah.
He's on all the socials and.
I saw one of his TikToks where he's like, "Man, I'm number 2 right now on the billboards, and the song that's in front of me, he has 5 songwriters, he's got 13 producers, he's got this and that and that, and then he goes to his song that was number 2. He's like, mine is just me. I'm the songwriter, I'm the producer, I'm the editor, all of it.
I'm like, well, you're not lying.
Yeah,
Right. But
yeah.
speaking of that, is that social media stuff all that fun to you? Is it hard?
I
Is
have
it
made it fun,
Okay.
Morgan, as much as I can. It at the beginning, like doing
taxing.
it. Yeah,
a little
it was
bit?
pretty grueling. Like I was trying. You could ask my wife. Like in my phone, talking about schedules and Google Calendars, I put post a cover at 5:00 Tuesday. Post a cover.
Yeah.
5:00 Thursday, and then personal post 2:00 Wednesday. And now I decided that like making sure I post one thing a day, personal / music, whatever, is just that works for me.
Okay.
And I always have a batch of stuff ready to go in a folder, like based on what song we're putting out next or whatever, to base content around, and I schedule stuff.
Yeah.
The
You
Facebook
do.
scheduling
It's helpful.
Was
super helpful.
Was
Yeah.
that the biggest change for you, is when you actually put a system in, you actually schedule it? Because like, man, there's days where I don't want to do that grind. Like I get tired of it.
Man, if I'm scheduling stuff ahead of time, then that's basically automatic, and then I can just fit in between like personal posts and like random stuff off the cuff.
Okay.
That's what's helped me. I don't do the whole Google Calendar thing anymore. That's just worked for me.
I don't do it
That's
very
worked-
Right.
good, but
Yeah.
I did make my appointment. I don't do it very good, but I did.
But you were late.
Yeah. Well, no, I wasn't, because
Okay. Oh, yeah, you're
I
right.
tricked myself.
So So you're tricking me.
Yeah.
But do you think the social media thing has like helped your then audience and bring people to your concerts and all of that? I mean, do you think it plays hand in hand? I mean, you growing that and people then hearing your music and playing it and downloading it, all of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've seen a trend, and the positive of having a management team and a good team behind you is because they look at all the data.
Okay, so they tell you that stuff. You're like,
could I do that on my own? No.
Yeah.
I would rather just be creative, and so that's helped me. Having them has helped me be strictly creative.
Good.
Drinking a beer with creative folks like you.
Yeah.
And,
like they're in their wheelhouse doing
Yeah.
their thing, and you're doing yours. And,
Yep.
But you're working together.
Yep. They'll tell me like, okay, this post you did the other day, Burgett, like this post had this many views, and then they go to my streaming on Spotify or Apple Music or overall trends and see if there was an uptick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, based on a song I
Dang.
used in that post, and so then they'll be like, okay, let's experiment. Let's experiment a little further with a different song and see,
Gotcha.
And it's weird because it might be like the point of view of where the camera is. Maybe that didn't trip some views. Maybe maybe it needs to be a dead on video.
You think it's like time of day? Like
could
anything?
be.
Oh my
There's a
God. All those
mystery. There's a big question
algorithms.
mark.
Yeah.
As far as social media goes, I mean, we wouldn't be sitting here right now if it wasn't for that.
Dude.
That's how
Right.
we met.
Yeah.
Speaking
Well,
of that, I've kind of thought about that. How did you guys meet? Did you send him an email? I don't even really know the story.
I tried to think about it this week because I knew you were coming, and the only
I'm like, I know we're going to talk about this.
yeah, and
It
I
seems like my whole life I've known y'all.
Right.
What you're doing.
Right. I think what I remember is it, and it's been a number of years now. It's been at least 3 or 4 years.
It was pre-COVID.
It was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Sure.
It was pre-COVID.
Because,
Love that timeline.
dude, I'm 100%, man. I'm pretty
totally
sure
was, yeah.
like
It was
2017.
well
Yeah.
before that. Yeah.
2016, 2017.
So
2017,
we started Farm Focused in
2015.
late 2015.
Okay.
And I don't think it was too long after that, which, we're a small company, we're watching everything super close, especially with social media, because we knew we needed to grow there. And if I remember correctly, I think I remember you just starting to follow the brand.
Yeah.
And at the time, I'm looking at all the people that are following it because I'm
and
trying
how
to
many
figure
likes
out.
or
No, I'm just trying to figure out like who are these different people that are interested in the brand.
okay.
And so then I came across you that liked it, and I'm like, oh, this guy, he's trying to make his way in Nashville. He's a country music singer. He's got a farm background. Like, this makes sense.
Yeah.
So then I think most likely I sent you a message, via Farm Focused on Instagram. And, hey, man, what's going on? Would you like to work together, or whatever? And then one thing leads to another, and we send you some gear, and we're going back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
man.
I think
Okay.
that's what it
looked
was.
back in my Instagram post, and I saw that first Farm Focus shirt you gave me. This
Yeah.
one right here
Yeah,
that
there we go.
Andy's wearing.
Was it
Yep.
that one? I was
It
thinking it's
was.
the blue one.
I'm so
Okay.
retro today.
Yeah, you are.
Dude, I wear that shirt a lot. It's really cool. That's special to me.
Yeah, for sure.
But I looked back and I saw that story. I'll find it and show it to you. But
Yeah.
it's a story of me posting, thank you, Farm Focus. And,
Yeah.
Oh,
and
that's
I looked
crazy.
at your merch and stuff, and like I loved it. I
Yeah.
loved the look, and it fit me.
And it was one of those things where like just the mentalities worked. You know what I mean? Like we're on the same page with the same type of people, thinking the same kinds of things, with the same goals, with the same values. You know what I mean? And it clicked.
Yep.
And next level, I'm a Chicago Bear fan.
Oh,
Hey,
boy.
you can
Bear
be.
down.
You
Bear
can be.
down.
He's said that on the podcast before, so that's real.
Nice. Nice.
It is very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Da.
Except I don't really know why, because you never lived there.
Well, Nebraska doesn't really have a pro team. And
Oh,
so,
that's right. So you were like, oh, I'm just
Yeah.
going to pick the closest.
When I was really little,
We always give Andy a hard time.
they do. They do.
Yeah.
They just drill me.
Love it.
I'm a punching bag for the show. Punching bag / editor. And but the Bears had just won a Super Bowl when I started getting into football, and they were just a zany team. They did that Super Bowl shuffle.
Yeah,
a song.
dude.
There was a keyboard there.
The ballroom blitz. Was that the one?
No,
Or no, that's different. I'm sorry.
it's a Super Bowl
She's
shuffle.
Close enough. Close
could've
enough.
Oh yeah.
It's a Super Bowl shuffle. Yeah, it was pretty wild.
Just kidding. But the original home for the Chicago Bears is the town where Amy and I met, Decatur, Illinois.
Nice.
Yeah. There's a big sign that says original home of the Chicago Bears.
All right.
So
All
you're
right.
in town, though, here, because you're playing tomorrow night.
Yes, we are playing tomorrow night, opening up for Mr. Joe Nichols.
Now, do you know him? Have you played for him before?
I haven't.
Okay.
I've seen a show of his at a county fair like many years ago, or a state fair many years ago. I say many years ago. It was probably like 7 or 8 years ago. But yeah, I'm really excited. I think just being able to come to a new market. You know, I've had fans in Omaha area, y'all. I mean, like, let's go. And, you know, I bet that y'all sort of helped me get here, honestly. Like, who knows? 'Cause
That's pretty cool, yeah.
You guys are...
You and I have been messaging about this for years, you know, like, when are you going to be close? You know, what's going on? And I just
all
thought,
the time,
like,
man.
to think that you're playing in Omaha, you know, that's not something that I would have thought was happening right now.
You were the first person I texted, man.
And I was like, that's so cool, dude. Let's go.
My management team said the show came through because we'd been working on it. I don't like to like jinx the whole process.
Yeah.
Like this might happen, it might not, but I don't want to get things in the works if it's not going to happen.
Right.
And, although I probably would have just made a trip out here anyway because I would have used it as a sign anyway to come meet y'all finally.
Yeah.
And it needed to happen regardless.
We're excited about tomorrow night, for
Well,
sure.
it should be fun. Should be fun.
And we do tag when I send out our podcast, like this morning, you know, the Common Folk podcast. I always tag you on it, you know, because you're on the intro and the outro.
Dude,
get that piano
you,
going
man.
there, you know. And I noticed on Spotify, if someone listens to Common Folk, they'll try to feed them you next.
Dude, I
So
love
there
that.
you go.
Hey, that's that. We're keeping this empire
Yeah,
going, man. We're
yeah.
making it bigger.
It totally
So-
makes sense. And you know, you were generous enough because I reached out to you when we were trying to start this thing. And I put way too much thought into things. And I'm thinking about the podcast.
Yes, he does.
It took me like 9 months to even name the podcast. And I changed it like 3 or 4 different times.
Oh, I already launched it. You're like,
Yes, and he was like, no,
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
folks with an S.
Folk.
Yeah.
Folk.
It's that whole thing. Nothing's set in stone.
And then
there are things about my songs I might change like later on. I'd love
Right.
to, but no.
And I had downloaded a bunch of music and like tested a bunch of different things. I'm like, this sounds cool. This sounds cool. And then finally one day I was like, dude, we've been working with Eric and you have all these cool songs. So I just messaged you. I'm like, what do you think? And you're like, I think this will be the one. And then I started listening to it and I'm like, obviously I had heard it before, but I just hadn't put 2 and 2 together. And I was like, that's it. Like that song is exactly what we do here every day, who we are.
Yeah.
It's freaking perfect, man.
No,
Love it, man.
one day my
Thank
wife was listening and she said, "Who did you find to write that song for you guys and then sing it?" Like, because it fits so well.
That's how we roll. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that means a lot. That it means a lot just because that song I think relates to so many people.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
man, and even if you didn't come from a small town, like you always have that place in your heart that you grew up, that you have roots. You know. So
And Town You Never Heard Of is the song we're referencing.
absolutely.
And it's all in perspective, man, because like I got family out in Washington, and so we went to a few Seattle Mariners games a long time ago, and they're playing the Yankees, and so there's some Yankee fans behind us, and one of them said, "Hey, this is a nice little town you got here, Seattle. We're in Seattle," and like my uncle took the lead. He's like, "Well, I don't actually live in Seattle, but you know, thank you, I'll take that, thank you." So you know, like. These New Yorkers never even heard of Seattle, so town you never heard of. It's all
Yeah.
in perspective.
You don't
That's-
see it.
And that's the reason why it works. And that's the reason why it works for us as well, is that there's these little towns you never heard of all over the U.S. Not only all over the U.S., all over the world. And we hear from these folks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like these small little towns that people are proud of.
Yeah, that's what it comes back to. It's something to be proud of, man. And everybody, it's like someone's name. Like someone's name is like the most precious thing to them, and it's like your town is like precious, and it's where you have all these life experiences. You might drink a beer under 21. Who knows?
You might.
You just might. Or you
In
you
a
know,
cornfield, you know?
Seriously, that little dirt road that you go down to pray, or you like
Yep.
fight somebody just because you're mad, or you like hit the. I don't know. Just
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
be a bigger
Absolutely.
picture for somebody. So.
So what's the future plans, man? What are you looking at? What are you seeing?
Yeah, so we're putting new music out constantly, and that's kind of the name of the game for a lot of us independent artists. And I have a special song coming out in 2 weeks. It's a tribute to my dad. He passed away last fall, last October, and I'm really excited to get this song out there. It's called Shoes, and it's all about who's gonna fill your shoes when you're gone? You know, it's gonna be tough, but someone's got to do it the best that you.
Did you put a post out on that this week?
I did. Yeah, we just started promoting it today, so we can pre-save it now.
I probably saw it today, and I was listening to it, and I was like, man, that's a really cool song. Sounds very heartfelt.
Man, thank you, man. I'm really proud of that one, and I'm stoked to get it out there because a lot of folks have experienced loss, and but there's it's weird to say, but there's beauty in loss to continue their legacy and do things like they would do, like live up to their legacy and fill their shoes to the best of your ability or something that they do.
And in that perspective, like they live on, you know, through you. It's man, that was tough for
They
me
ain't
talking to Dagan. You know, Dagan's dad.
It
like,
was,
I mean, I'm
man.
a softie, and that was a tough one for me.
Yeah. A couple episodes ago, we chatted with one of our fallen heroes, you know, the Fallen 13.
Yeah.
And,
I heard your podcast on
tough,
that
man.
with the family that you
Yeah.
interviewed. Yeah, that was beautiful.
That was tough.
Yeah.
And I told you, man, like you don't hear that deep side a lot
Yeah.
on podcasts. You don't.
Yeah.
Right.
And podcasts are all about realness, and that really it was awesome. So
That's the bottom line, man. We're all people. You know, we all think and feel the same things really when it all comes down to it. You know, and the job that you do helps kind of bring that into perspective for people, gives you the opportunity to sit there and listen and reminisce and think and be inspired.
Yeah. No matter how hard it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, we're all human, and we all deal with shit.
100%.
And
Right.
we go through shit, and we got to get through it somehow. And for me, as a singer-songwriter, I want nothing more than to hit people's hearts with that emotion and try to get across to them that you can do this, you can keep going. So
Right. Gotcha.
So can I ask, how often are you writing? Like, is that something constantly, like writing music?
yes,
Like you just be sleeping and you can't sleep, and
I look at my wife because she's probably like shaking her head. Yeah.
Oh dang!
Like she might be saying something, and then I'm just like sitting here. That
Your
could be a
mind just
song
spinning.
idea. Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
So do you just write things in your like notes, or how do you?
Lots of voice memos. That probably takes up most space in my phone.
That's probably smart.
I'll just set it on record in my truck as I'm driving like a 4-hour drive.
And you're
Sometimes
just
I'm
talking.
just talking.
Okay,
And I'm
but then you
talking
gotta
out my
play it
head.
back.
I play it back. I sit in my studio just by myself at night sometimes if Amy goes to bed early, and I'll just like write down things that stand out to me.
Okay.
Or like, that was stupid, Eric. Why'd you say that? Like,
Do you feel like based on what you said there, you were talking about you're driving around in your truck and you're recording things. Do you feel like you get some of your best thoughts just cruising down the road?
I do, man. I do. Because everybody cruises down the road and listens to music. If I speak for most people, I think most people do that.
Yeah.
Or they're listening to podcasts, people talking, and there's so many things you can pass your time with on the road, and music has always been that for me. And so that like brings me back to my roots of doing that. So I think I do get most of my ideas like that.
Yeah. I relate to that. I mean, I feel like I spend a lot of time on the road as well. And I don't know, for whatever reason, like my best ideas pop up. Like, again, like if I'm trying to think of a name for the podcast, that's where I figure it out, is when I'm driving down the road for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
And you got to write it down or figure it out or record it, like you said.
right.
You were telling how you guys met, and I thought, man, that's a song title right there. We met in a bar in Nashville. I'm like, bar in Nashville,
Dude, 100%, man. Like, that's exactly like what my mind does. Like, I might be thinking of the next, maybe someone else is going to cut that song. Maybe that title isn't for me, or maybe it's for somebody else or whatever. You never know where a song's going to take you, where a little thought is going to take you. So back to your question about like writing every day, like in the writing room, I'm doing that most of the time too. Probably 3 times a week, and then I devote 1 or 2 days a week to a full-blown social media day where I record content and edit and stuff like that.
Gotcha. But then do you ever get music given to you, like that's already
I've
written?
had some songs pitched to me
Okay.
as an artist, but they were some that just didn't ring true to my brand, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I still get pitched songs, but there's also that thought of I love being a part of the creative process of something that I put out. But that doesn't necessarily mean that, someone's song isn't going to get cut by me because, you
never know.
You never know. And sometimes that song, what it's about, might not be my story, but it might be somebody else's story. So,
Yep.
to emote that.
Right.
We were talking about this just yesterday because we were having an episode. We were talking about AI. And one of the things we were chatting about was how AI is starting to create music and like replicate people's voices and so on and so forth. And the question that I had was, is there value in the fact that this individual created this and brought this to life, as opposed to this computer just generated this thing? And yeah, it sounds cool, but is there value in the fact that this dude or this lady went through this whole process to bring this thing together? And I feel like that's exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, absolutely. Behind that AI, somebody put their hard work efforts, ethics behind that to make it what it is. And they put the same amount of work behind that creation as I do creating a song. I think there's room for everything in this world. Like, let's look at how much music has evolved, to the point where, I don't want to say this, and have it be meant to be a bad thing, but genres, there's country music and there's pop music, and when people started putting pop country together, let's look at how far that's come and how many people dig that, and I think it's cool with all the talent out there and creating things. So.
Well, and I think, to your response there, I think you're being generous with some of those things, but for me, the fact is like someone like you takes a life experience and creates a story behind it and then turns it into music. There's a lot going on there.
Days.
Like totally. That value, and it's not even the time. It's just more like the
life experiences. You had to go through that to write that.
Everything behind it is so much more meaningful
than just some,
you know what I mean?
I will say exactly that. So with, it does take a lot of talent to create something like that and to know how to do that. But can you get the same emotion as, a live human artist?
When you sit there and listen to a song, like this new one that you have coming out, and the artist, their story, their background, all the things that they've talked about, all the things you've said about your father and so on and so forth, and then you listen to that, like, dude, that's
you can't replicate that.
Yeah.
You cannot.
No. Yeah.
And yeah.
So what do you say? What else can you say?
It's a different
right there.
It's a different variation of somebody writing songs. I mean, you kind of already explained it, like having songs pitched to you. It might not be your song. It's just that, someone's just writing it. They know it rhymes or it flows well, and it could be someone's story. For me, AI is doing the same type of thing here. It's just
and entertainment is entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's great. That needs to be there.
At the end of the day, it is. It's entertainment, and people who are gonna dig that thing. I haven't done much research into it. I've seen it in the news and in articles and stuff, but I haven't. I'm over here doing my own thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, people are gonna cling to it. The folks who want to like it are gonna like it, and it's gonna.
I learned a lot yesterday because these guys know a lot.
Sure.
So I'm sitting here like, oh, okay,
your boy
mind blown. It's like, wow.
So.
Your boy Drake, he's getting paid because that's who and then he's getting the royalties from it, though.
Yeah. So
you should hope AI rips it off.
Dude, I mean, let's be honest. Like, all these scammers on Facebook trying to take my, TikToks or on Instagram.
You know how many times I get like, be Eric Burgett's friend. I'm like,
Lordy.
I already am friends with him.
That's why I wanted to come out here so you could meet the real Eric Burgett.
Yeah.
So that you didn't
you're
think
real.
that.
We were wondering. We were like, is this dude even real?
Am I even gonna? I might be an AI.
Yeah. Swear to God, Illinois guys. I'm from Illinois. Swear to God, guys.
So a couple other things to kind of close us out a little bit. just to ask you, is there anything else that you wish we would have asked? Is there anything you want to cover at
I
all?
wish you would have asked me if I want another beer.
Well, there you
know.
go.
Nah,
So-
we're gonna have some more beer skis.
I can
So
concur.
I can go get one.
not only are we wait, hold on.
No, we're good.
Not only are we going to need another beer, but we're going to need a couple of cups.
There's not in here.
Well, there's not enough, most
Wait, in
likely.
here?
We don't know in where yet. We're not there. Just hang on a second. Hang on a second. So grab that real quick, and
Okay.
I'm gonna get into this.
Is this like a cooler?
Maybe quit jumping ahead
curious,
of things.
man.
Quit jumping ahead
Okay,
of
I'll
things.
stop
You got
asking
them going
questions.
now.
All right. So
Sorry, I don't mean to be looking under the table.
no, first of all,
Trying to look for a little divot in the shape.
yeah. So coming on the podcast, being a guest, we super appreciate you guys coming. You know, all of you guys. This is a trip for you. I know you got some work to do, but it's awesome to see you. We've got a gift for you. So right here, you see that carton? Grab that.
What looks like a cigar box?
That's it right there. Yep, grab
Oh.
that. Yep. So this company that we work with, the folks are called Handle Bend, and they're right here in Nebraska, O'Neill, Nebraska. So these folks hand make all this stuff. Okay.
No way.
So you can
Thank
see
you,
that
Morgan. She got me a beer.
She got you. She got you. The carton is the presentation's badass, right?
It is, man. I'm like, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
It is cool.
That is awesome.
You have
a little pry bar there.
Yeah, so you can open it.
Gosh, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
it might take you a minute, so
With
Are you asking me to do it now?
no.
No.
Okay.
You take that with you.
take that home.
Within
That
that,
might be a weapon, though. Are you going to get
Can I
through?
go
or
on the
are you gonna-
airplane with it? Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Are there any
might
loose
not.
screws in it? Or?
Oh
think so.
shoot, we're gonna pull what your dad did.
we
there.
might have to ship it.
We can ship you one.
So within that carton are handmade copper mugs.
Dude.
So literally, those folks there make that stuff all by hand. It's got the Farm Focused logo on it. It's a super cool setup. So that's for you guys.
Oh, that's special, man.
Appreciate
Thank
you guys coming.
Thank you.
100%.
They hammer out that copper, and you know it's real because it's heavy.
Yep.
You know it's
Yeah,
heavy.
right?
Yeah.
Man.
So we're talking about Handle Bend. That's handlebend.com. They're in O'Neill, Nebraska. Folks can go on there and order them. If you were ever to gift somebody something, you know that you're not
Father's
going to get
Day.
wrong with one of
That
those.
would be,
Yeah.
that's new and
Yeah.
fresh in my
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
Like, that's something I've never seen before. And
Super
that's
cool.
awesome.
Yep, super cool.
Thank you, guys.
So one of the last things that we want to do is show you a little something here before you jumped the gun. You ready for this? Okay, let's pop this open real quick.
What?
Boom.
Whoa, this
There
is
we
where
go.
y'all hide it.
There we
Holy
go.
This is
cow.
where we hide it. So coming out of here is
I could fit in there. I might just live in there.
Oh yeah.
that's some Handle Bend mugs right there.
Dude.
So they
these
custom
are
made these
awesome.
for us to fit in this space. The ones that you got are bigger, but you can kind of get a taste there of
Give
what that's
Andy
all
that
about.
one. They're clean.
Perfect. That's awesome.
And then we've got a couple of drinks in here,
Sweet.
again from Nebraska, with some Nebraska grains.
Okay.
Cooper's Chase,
Yep.
All right.
our buddy Doug,
Yep.
he distills this stuff.
Real good.
West
Smooth.
Point,
In
Nebraska.
West Point,
West
Nebraska.
Point, Nebraska. Yeah.
And he'll get on social media too, and he'll be like on Facebook Reels and be like, "All right, well, I got a couple hours tonight after work. I'm gonna go do some distilling." So,
Love
Yeah.
it.
It's the real deal,
Yeah,
man.
100%.
Love it.
So who wants vodka? Who wants bourbon? I'm gonna do the vodka.
I'll take some more bourbon.
It's a good bourbon.
Oh, God. Ben, what do you want, bourbon? You're not gonna do this.
I'll do the vodka. Yeah, I had that
Really?
last time, and I thought it was pretty
Okay.
good actually.
Well, your beautiful wife
That's
over
cool.
here, she can't drink. 'cause
You know,
she's-
I
we
was-
didn't even talk about this.
Baby on
You guys are
board.
gonna have a baby.
That was
Do
the
you
part
want-
of the love story I left out. Dang. Well, so, yeah.
She wants some
Morgan
bourbon.
spilled the beans to y'all out there. But,
So you guys,
No,
Was I not?
okay,
Oh, we
I'm
can edit
joking.
this out. I thought I saw this on social
Absolutely
media.
100% kidding. Trust me, I spilled the beans many times before we actually even like told many people, because we were talking to PR company, like articles, like
Yeah.
newspapers, and we had to like tell them ahead of time because the newspaper's gonna be printed like this time, but not until a couple months later. Anyway, no, you did not spill the beans.
Okay, I
at
still
all.
was like, did I say something? I shouldn't have?
the
I'm
general
sorry, I
public
freaked
doesn't
you
know.
out. I know that's
Shit.
such a, I know. But we are expecting our first child. We're gonna have a little boy.
Woo!
I'm
awesome.
Do you guys
Yeah.
have a name picked
It's awesome.
out?
We do.
Okay, that's
And
good, but you're
his
not
name-
sharing?
Oh
Or
no,
you are?
we've shared it all
Wait.
out there.
I don't think I knew this.
Laura, we didn't tell you.
Oh boy. Oh,
We have
boy.
our friend Laura here in the
So we were
studio too.
spilling
by the
Oh,
way.
see, okay, so I don't feel as bad. Okay, wait, say it.
So, the baby's name, the kid's name, the child's name,
His name?
his name is Trent.
Trent.
Okay.
Trent
Love
Gregory. So
I dig it.
Trent
I dig
is
it.
after her dad's nickname.
Okay.
And then Gregory is my dad's name.
So
The middle
Trent,
name. So
That's
not
awesome.
Trenton, Trent.
just Trent.
Gregor. Wait,
Trent Gregory.
okay. Gregory.
Congratulations, guys.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Heck yeah.
Exciting.
I can't wait. Bring him
Cheers
down
to
to
that,
the
man.
farm
Cheers.
sometime when he
Perfect.
gets old enough.
Let's try this Cooper's Chase
Get
real
that
quick.
Gatorade in here.
Cheers, everybody.
Yep. Let's see what we got here.
Maybe I gave you too much.
Pretty smooth, isn't it?
Smooth as I'll get
There
out.
you go.
I love
That's
it.
not a bad Nebraska bourbon.
I know.
No.
I'm always like, boo, just a little bit. But
And
That's
it was,
awesome.
It's hard to come by right now because it's aged. So I know it got sold out in a lot of grocery stores lately, and
Cool.
they're like, "Where is it? Where is it?" And he's like, "I gotta age it."
Good problem for him to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tasty stuff.
Wow.
So cool, man. I think that's
Like
about
this
all
hat.
we got. Yeah, check out
You
these
know,
hats. Got the
that's
gear.
a good hat.
One thing we didn't talk about is
We
partnering
didn't.
with you guys
Yep.
for merch.
Yep.
So I'm looking at a brand new Eric Burgett hat that Farm Focus had produced for me, and they're producing mass amounts of these things. So y'all
yeah.
check them out when we finally release them online. If you're at the Joe Nichols concert,
We're gonna have
stop
that.
by.
Yes, sir.
yeah,
So I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that yet or not, but
dude, 100%.
long story short, this is something that again you and I have been talking about for years, and I'm pumped. So we're gonna be the provider, the designer, the producer, the provider
Yeah, dude.
of the Eric Burgett merchandise, man.
And you take work off my hands
Yeah.
because I can create more.
Yeah,
So
you're like, I don't have to deal with that.
I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
That's
this
how
You
it
guys
always
have fun with
starts.
it, like I have fun making music. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get
this
it.
will be fun. So folks will be able to find it on farmfocus.com, on ericburgett.com. Is that your website?
Yes, sir.
ericburgett.com.
Fantastic.
There'll be links to all that. And with that being said, where else can folks find you? They're trying to find your music. Where do they go?
Yeah, so I'm on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. But music-wise, there's a link on all my socials that takes you to all my music. Just
Okay.
one-stop link there to everything, merch, everything. Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, Touch Tunes, jukeboxes. If you're in a small bar somewhere,
nice.
which is cool.
Dang.
We'll have to try that. We got a small bar down here that has that. We have to try that.
Sweet.
Hit it up.
There we
I'm
go.
trying to get him to put more songs on there of mine, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
That
Hopefully
count-
that's in the
that'll-
future.
Yeah, I was going to say in time.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Sweet.
stuff, man.
This was
Cool.
great.
Heck
Now we
yeah.
get to go out back, have
feel
some
like we-
barbecue.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just
Dude.
gotta say, it's been awesome just to be here. So I've been looking forward to this.
For sure.
So-
For sure. We got our
We
buddy
have
out
two.
back. He's running the smoker. We got wings on.
Sweet.
I got a special treat for you out there.
What?
Yep.
Yep.
That you're gonna have to try.
No,
Yep. That he's running.
Okay.
He's a trained chef.
Yes.
dude, awesome.
So this is gonna be the stuff.
I'm a foodie as ever. So
Yeah.
There we go.
I
Yeah.
love it. Can't
Cool.
wait.
Perfect.
All right. Well, it's been fun, guys. We're gonna shut it down. Anybody got anything else?
I don't. I feel like we need another shot now.
We're gonna have a few more.
Man. Cooper, get some more of that. Come on.
He's got a DD over here.
Ooh,
There you
yes,
go.
we do.
Yes. Yep.
Precious cargo.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, guys. It's been
All
fun.
right,
We'll see
this
you
is fun.
tomorrow.
Yep.
We're gonna
see
have a
y'all.
blast at the concert.
Can't wait.
All right.
We're
Peace.
closing it out. We'll see you.
Later.